folks, and welcome to the Kicking Out of Kayfabe podcast. I'm your host, Colin. Thank you very much for joining me again here today. On today's show, I have the pleasure of sitting down with the one and only Irish Unicorn Amy Allonsy. Now, Amy talks to me about a wide range of stuff here today. One of the most important parts, though, is the fact that she is the number one contender for the OTT Women's Championship. And unfortunately, due to the pandemic that is currently ongoing, that match was cancelled. Amy talks me through all her feelings around that and her prep for that and where she hopes that's going to go in future. We also touch on a lot of her training, and she lets us into her personal life a little bit and talks to us about her significant other. All the answers are here today. Amy Allonsy, absolute ray of delight. She would brighten up anybody's day. She is so passionate. Her optimism is second to none. I could only help but smile when speaking to Amy. She is an absolute delight, as I said. Here she is, the one and only. Enjoy. Thanks everybody for joining me here today. Today I'm joined by Amy Allonsy. Hi Amy, how are you?
Hello, how are you?
I'm very good. Thank you very much for joining me here today. It's an absolute pleasure to have you. I'm in my kitchen today, absolutely sweltering, just to let everybody know. The cap is still on because the grill is an absolute mess underneath.
Oh, I
So
can't look at the roots. Look at the roots. The growth.
you honestly don't know how lucky you have it. Like if my only problem was the color of my hair, like it would be such a better world. I'm in that moment now where my hair it's not short enough to like do anything with it. It's just too messy. It's not long enough to do anything with it. Like I can't tie it or anything like that, and it's just an absolute
The struggle.
disaster. It's a disaster. That's the only word that I can use to describe it. So like if you're worried about like your roots, but you can still tie your hair up and sleep at night and you don't have
That's
bits of hair coming down all over your
yeah.
oh, I just can't
Sounds like a
deal.
disaster.
Yeah, barber can't open up quick enough. But enough about me here. So we're here today to talk about you, about your career, specifically in as I kind of cover the basics. I kind of go over a lot of the OTT stuff. I focus on OTT, but we will delve into where else you kind of work and what other promotions you work for. So if you can just take me back and let me know, like how did you get into wrestling?
So my story is a little bit like different from everyone else. So the first time I like watched wrestling was when I was 15, and that was in 2015. And everyone like does not believe me when I tell this story, but I was watching wrestling for like 4 or 5 months, and I was like, oh my god, like I have like this is it, like this is my calling in life. I have to try this. So like 15 years old, I was like looking up for like wrestling skills everywhere, and there was Fight Factory in Bray at the time, and I live in Dublin 15, like it's the other side of the world,
Hmm.
like about an hour away in traffic, and there was no way. And then I found Main Stage, rest in peace, in Kylemore at the time, and that's where I started off.
Cool. And so you only started watching wrestling in 2015.
Yeah,
That's really late
crazy.
to the party. So
Yeah,
like you missed the golden
everything.
eras, a couple of the golden
Everything.
eras of wrestling. You missed the Attitude Era. The what was the one after that that they called it? The
PG era, that's
rootless.
when I
Sorry,
started. Oh,
the
ruthless
ruthless
aggression.
aggression
Okay.
era. Then we got into the PG era, and I think that's where it kind of fell off a cliff a bit. Which is where Joe obviously capitalized. But yeah, so you found main stage. So tell me about that. How did you get into main stage then?
Um, so it kind of just starts off the same for most people. Like the first time that I went down, like Joe was the trainer at the time, and he like asked me to watch the first like class because I was definitely like one of the youngest there, and especially a girl starting off so young, he was kind of a bit like, oh, like maybe you should watch. Like, do you know what you're getting into? Like, this isn't like what you'd be used to. But I watched the first class and I was like, oh my god, like this is it. Like I need to come back. So then, whenever the next class was, I was there. I was ready to go, and like Joe kind of showed me how to run the ropes, how to
Mhm.
like bump all this kind of stuff, and that's it. The rest is history from there.
But did you enjoy doing it then? Like your first couple of classes, were you taken aback at all by anything? Was there anything that kind of troubled you?
I was a bit more fearless when I started off because I was so young and I probably wasn't like very educated in the world of like injuries and stuff.
Hmm.
So I thought I was safe as houses, like there was nothing wrong, like this is the best thing ever, like full of adrenaline every single time. But after my first class, like I was like in school at the time and like I couldn't walk, like my legs, because obviously like I wasn't that like fit when I started. Like most people aren't as fit as they think they are when they
Yeah,
start off wrestling. So my legs, like I was like a baby giraffe trying to walk around the school corridors.
that's a good little analogy. So, so where are you training now then?
I'm training between the two schools now in Dublin, so the School of Irish Wrestling and Fight Factory.
I spoke to, who was I speaking to about this? I think I was speaking to CT about this, and I think that's a great thing. There's no kind of politics in Irish wrestling to an extent. There is a couple of other things going on with other promotions and stuff, but we won't get into that. But
Let's not.
yeah. But in relation to like the two Dublin promotions and anyway, so Fight Factory and OTT or the school, like there's no politics there at all. You can go train on both, you can work on both shows.
Yeah,
Like that's a pretty cool dynamic when you hear about some of the terrible politics in wrestling and people being outcast because they're even speaking to someone from another school or from another promotion or something like that. It's just crazy to think. Um, but I was no, I won't ask you that. I was going to ask you what you prefer, but no, I won't put you on the
I love
spot.
them both. I like have no like problem answering that question. Like each school has completely different things to offer,
Hmm.
and like for anyone who's like training in one school and not going to your school or vice versa,
Hmm.
whatever, like I just completely recommend stepping outside your comfort zone and just training in both. Because ever since I started training in both schools and getting different perspectives, like I've just become like a completely different performer. Like it's just completely changed me as a wrestler, and it's the one thing I recommend to everybody when they start off wrestling. Go to everywhere that you possibly can.
Yeah, that's something that seems to be a bit of a trend when I'm talking to people is like just work everywhere, do everything,
Everything.
um, as much as you can, and what did he say? Pay your dues or earn your stripes or whatever way you want to put it. So take me back then. You're training. How long were you training then before you had your first match?
So I was training just over a year when I had my first match. So it was in main stage wrestling in 2016, just December, so almost 2017, just the end of it there.
Hmm. And how do you think it went? Or who was it against actually?
It was against Kazuji again, rest in peace. I loved it. Like I thought I knew everything about wrestling at the time, and I think most people kind of are really confident when they debut, and then you kind of realize that like it's just a completely different kettle of fish when you get in front of an audience. Like I'll never forget the feeling. Like the adrenaline was just crazy. There's no feeling like being in front of an audience, but that first time was just incredible.
And were you nervous? Were you worried about anything? Were you
Bag of nerves. Like, but when I kind of look back on it, like I've been more nervous since then. Like
okay?
I think I was really oblivious when I started off to like everything. And then when I first got in front of an audience, it didn't hit me until I was behind the curtain. Because I was like, oh yeah, like I'm making my debut today. Like this is it. Like I'm gonna be a wrestler, this, that, the other. And then I kind of got behind the curtain. Like my music just hit, and I was like, oh.
You can really see the adrenaline when you come through the curtain as well. You can see your adrenaline pumping. You're one of the most excited kind of people coming out through the curtain. Like I love it. I don't know how you can keep that up every single time.
It's
But
real. It's real. Once you love it, like that's it. Like there's no changing it. Like
that's amazing. So how did the first match go then?
um, great for a first match. Like I'm actually pretty proud of it. Like because then kind of afterwards, like I wasn't wrestling as often because contenders wasn't around. Like contenders, the first ever contender show was my second ever match, and
Okay.
there's like a huge gap between like December and then whenever contenders was. Like for like wrestling shows in Ireland, there wasn't that many because main stage wrestling wasn't running, and again like when I kind of started off, there was like teeny tiny bit of beef with Fight Factory and main stage, but like it's just so stupid now to even when you think back on it.
Yeah.
So like we weren't training in school really, but now it's like completely different. And this is 5 years ago, like just a completely different country. And then so there was just no really shows other than the, like the kids style kind of camp shows. But like again, I wasn't wrestling on those yet. So to go from like that debut to like being on an OTT show is just, I don't know many people who've done that other than kind of like more than Hype who like kind of debuted on OTT as well.
Hmm. Yeah, I didn't know that now. I think May 28, 2017
Yeah,
was the first contender. So you're saying December to May, so 6 months there between
yeah,
your first and second match, and
yeah,
that's a huge jump. So obviously the first contenders, you had to attend a seminar, as far as I know, a 2-day seminar, and they picked the kind of the cream of the crop coming out of that seminar
yeah.
to go on to the show. Now that's no detriment to anyone else who didn't get
No
onto the
way.
show, but like obviously they have to draw a line somewhere, and obviously you made it over that line. So what was that feeling like then when your name was called out? I spoke to Frankie about this. Frankie says it was like going to a WWE tryout and they call your name and say that you got signed by
Yeah,
WWE. Was it the same for you?
because you're all sitting in a room, and I don't know if most people have gotten into this. Like, it's Paul Tracy and Joe sitting at the top of the room, and we're all sitting in a circle. Like, and I was like, I'm not on this show because I'm so new. Like, it would be my second match. Like, in my head, like, I told myself I wasn't on this show. So when he said my name, I was kind of like, there's not another Amy in this, like me, like really, couldn't believe it because obviously like, I wanted to be on that show, like, and I trained really hard to be on that show, like, but somehow like I have a really big issue that I'm just not confident in myself. Like, I've completely changed now. I'm a lot more confident in myself, but still I'm really kind of negative about myself.
Hmm.
So when my name was called out, I was like could not like comprehend that I was on that show. And that match is still one of my favorite matches. Like, it was like, well, for my second match to be on an OTT show was just crazy.
That's absolutely phenomenal. So you teamed with Angel Cruz in that match against Justy and Katie. So what
Yes.
was it like teaming up with probably one of the best comedy wrestlers to ever come out of this country?
Amazing. Like, I wish like I had that match now because I feel like I just know so much more about wrestling. I feel like that could be one of the most amazing matches like ever. I wish I could go back and like do it again.
So what did Angel give you any advice going into that match?
Yeah, like he kind of like, I think everyone who you wrestle you kind of take something from, or who
Hmm.
you like teammate you take something from, and he was very character based, and that's amazing. So like getting to like be out there with so many characters, like it was again changing me as a wrestler. I kind of understood that I can't just be like there in the headlights. Like, I need to have something. I kind of got the gears turning in my head.
Hmm. I think you have to leave your inhibitions at the door there when you're in a ring, when you're in any ring, but especially when you're in there with the likes of Justy and Angel, and like you, anything could happen in a match like that. Like we've seen a lot of
Yeah.
crazy stuff happening in their matches, so yeah, you kind of have
But
to
that
leave.
was we had Team Prick out there as well, and then Logan Bryce interrupted. So it's just all the
Yeah.
characters. And I was there. I was like 17. And I was like, I didn't know who it was. Like, Amy Allonsy was just like a blonde girl, and she just had gear on. Like, she wasn't somebody. Like,
Hmm.
especially back then, like there was no substance to me as a wrestler then, and I was just learning. One of the best experiences ever. Though, as I said, I got the gears turning in my head. Like, something has to click here.
And how did the crowd take to you that day? How do
I
you feel they took to
I like to believe that they were behind me. Like,
you?
the
Hmm.
OTT crowd have been behind me since day one, because I've always been a runner at the shows. Like, if you watch back any of the
Hmm.
Tivoli shows, you see me ringside. Like, I'm there. I'm at all the shows since I started training. So, and I wasn't allowed to go to some of the shows because I was too young. But when I was allowed to go, one day like Joe just let me in the door and he let me be a runner. But ever since then, you'll see me like I was either ringside catching dives, moving people, or I'd be like at the merch table. That's what I'm probably best known for.
Well, this is something that I haven't really touched on. Now I did touch on it with Frankie, but what do you think about doing the kind of the crew work more so? Like obviously there's a lot to it. I think is I don't know if underappreciated is the word. I just think there's a lot of people that don't realize how much work you actually do on a daily basis. It like I notice a lot because I tend to sit probably closer to the ring, so I see a lot of the stuff that you're
Yeah.
doing. Um, but how does that come across for the likes of yourself? I know with Frankie, he told me that it's not kind of paying his dues for him anymore. It's kind of like he looks at it as he has the best seat in the house for watching some of those amazing shows. Or how would you say that it's?
I loved it. Like, it's not a good thing to say that like I do it forever because obviously I want to be a wrestler.
Mhm,
But like I think like sometimes in wrestling like your role isn't in the ring. But like I know that like I want to be a wrestler. Like this is everything I've done, and I've transitioned from being a runner to and a like doing the merch to being in the ring.
mhm.
But I think when you're in that position of being the merch girl or being the runner, like you really have to like savor those moments because when you finally make the jump from this is your role to like oh your role is being in the ring now, you kind of miss because I'd like communicate with so many different people. I get to meet everyone. Like at the merch stand, people would be coming up to me, "Oh, Amy, how are you?" This, that, the other. Like I'm gonna miss that role of being like a friendly face that everyone knows at shows
Mhm.
to like being like a star, if you want to say that now. But I feel like I still have like a different kind of relationship like with the OTT audience because I feel like I'm not as like daunting to like speak to, especially when I'm like makeup on, gear on. Like I'm Amy Allonsy now. Like I'm not just a merch girl. Like I feel like I'm a lot more approachable. Maybe I don't know if that
You
kind of makes
most
sense. What I'm
definitely
trying to say.
are. No, 100%. That makes 100% sense. I completely get where you're coming from there. Like you are extremely approachable. Everyone there knows you, and whether
Yeah,
that, as I said, whether that is from being on the mayor's table or being a runner or just standing ringside catching dives or whatever, you do kind of. I think everyone kind of has that where you're kind of taken in as one of our own kind of thing, where other people who probably haven't done that role, or maybe they were a little bit older when OTT started and probably never did that role in OTT, they probably don't feel that they're in the same kind of bracket, like you get me. But yeah, yeah, definitely
it's
seem like you're.
different. It's different. Like I don't know many promotions. There probably is more promotions that have homegrown, like they've been there since day one.
Hmm.
But I feel like I think Callum Black has the same connection with the fan
Yeah,
because they'll be like, oh, I know that face. How do I know that face? Like, even if you don't know me, like as Amy, like you don't even know my name, but you've seen me there. You know my face. Like I walk out through the curtain, people are like, I know her, and I think
yeah.
that's a completely different connection than a lot of the wrestlers would have.
Yeah, I think it definitely comes across when you do come out for a match then as well. I think like I've been in the crowd and the fans are well and truly behind you in
Yeah.
everything that you do there. It's great to see. Um, but just going and looking at your other matches, is there one kind of standout match that you say that you think you've had?
There's a few that have.
What was your pinnacle match? Would you think?
It's really hard to think about that honestly because I've done so much, but I've done so little for
Hmm.
where I am in my career. Like there's a few like moments where I've been like, oh my god. The first moment was the second Defiant, which would have been my first Defiant that I was on.
Hmm.
Like the atmosphere, like again, I was still kind of like really new to wrestling and like I wasn't probably the best performer at the time, but the crowd were like thunderous. Like and like when everyone stood up at the end, like I lost the match and people still stood up for me and were clapping for me. Like got backstage and I was literally screaming and jumping around the place. I could not believe it because like I've like everyone's been through the trials and tribulations in wrestling or whatever. That was a moment in my head where I was like, oh my god, this is for me. Like this, like I need to do this forever. And then the closest I got to that was like the match I had with Ginny at the third Defiance. Then, um, it kind of kicked off like my like grab for the goal in OTT. Like that was the moment where I knew I was like, oh my gosh, like I need to go to the top now.
Yeah, absolutely. I remember that show. That was a great weekend in itself. The day before though, you were on the fifth anniversary show.
Yeah,
Now, I didn't realize that there was, I don't know what do we call it? Was it a dark match?
a
Um,
pre-show match.
yeah, I don't know, but I actually didn't know it was on. So I was actually out the front, and it was only when I heard I can't remember what happened. I heard a bit of stuff going on inside, and like the queues for the merch and stuff was like 20 people deep, and it was so hard to even get in the door that I completely missed that match. But like, did obviously like we say that it was a pre-show match. Did you think of it as a pre-show match? Did you think of it as this,
No,
this is
no
like
way.
this is the stadium? Like,
That was my national stadium debut. I'll never
hmm,
forget that because I made my entrance and it was not full, but it wasn't empty, but there was empty seats
hmm,
because I think it was sold out, but people were like getting drinks, like
Yeah.
doing whatever they were doing, and they didn't even know the match was on. And there was a moment where I hit a move and I like banged the ropes and I look up and then like it was kind of full. That was another moment for me where like my heart was like, oh my god, I love wrestling. Like this is what I'm in it for. Like because it was gone from like not empty but like not full to like
Yeah.
everyone was in their seats. I was like, oh my god.
Like yeah, I was devastated I missed that match because like I follow Veda Scott on social media and stuff, and I really wanted to see her wrestle as well. Like that's nothing against the likes of you and Aiden and Captain who else were in that match, but
Yeah,
like I had
yeah,
never
yeah.
seen Vader wrestle, and because I follow her on social media, and I missed it, and I was like, oh no, I can't believe I actually missed that. Like, but
Yeah.
I had to go back and watch it again. But yeah, the following day you wrestled Ginny 1-on-1, which is again like Ginny is huge on the scene,
Yeah.
NXT UK star. Um, so like going into that match, did that have a different feel then, obviously from the day before?
The whole weekend I was petrified. Like I cannot even put into words like how petrified I was. But I'm not saying that in a bad way. It's just because I care so much about wrestling. Like I want it to be amazing and I want it to be perfect. Like, and this is kind of my moment to prove myself to a lot of fans because like I've been on and off and on and off on OTT. I was ready, I'm not ready. I thought I was ready and I wasn't ready. Just so many situations where like I should have been better. And this is my weekend to kind of like redeem myself to the fans and especially myself. Like that was the weekend to kind of prove to myself like I can go now. And I like to think that I did that. Like that was the weekend where I got a lot of my confidence.
So was Trinity Brawl around that time as well? Was that around?
That
That
was
was a bit
July,
before that, wasn't it?
July or August. I
Yeah.
think it was August.
So this is something that I wanted to ask you. So there was a different type of Amy Allonsy on that show.
It
Now obviously it was all in J Money's head, but
was a dream.
yeah, it was a dream. But do you think that we'll see that Amy come out in OTT at all?
I don't know. That was I don't know how to explain like being in that match because I think it was like my second time being like, the bad guy or
Hmm.
whatever. Like the adrenaline. Oh my god! Like when people were like booing me, like I was like, yeah, do it more. I love this. Like keep going. This is amazing. I couldn't believe it. Like when I got backstage, I was like, my hands were shaking. I was like, the power that I hold.
Was that your first time being a heel?
Not like like the wrestling.e shows, like they're more
Yeah.
kid style
Hmm.
kind of friendly shows. But this is my first time like getting a microphone and calling everyone pussy bitches. So
I think Twitter blew up that night.
yeah.
Now I wasn't at the show. I wasn't actually here. I think I was down the country, but I wasn't at the show. But I have watched it, and I remember that night, and I was following stuff on Twitter, and I seen Twitter just absolutely blown up. I can't believe Amy Alonso's gone heel. I can't believe Amy's cursing here at this show and stuff, and like everyone was just like, "Oh my God, where's good Amy gone?" And I just thought it was absolutely amazing.
I wrestled over in Glasgow and I had people coming over to me and they're like, "Why were you calling people pussy bitch? Like what was going on there?" I was like, "It was a dream. Someone got knocked out. I was living in their head. I don't even know. Like stop, just don't go there."
So you spoke about Glasgow there. So what? Just tell me about the other promotions that you work for.
Yeah, so I've wrestled for First Females and I'm like a regular there. Like I'd go over for the majority of their shows and I'm
Hmm.
not anywhere else. And then I've wrestled for Source as well. Like I was just about to break into like the UK scene. Like I had a handful of dates there and I was like I had a couple of dates like in like other countries in Europe. I'm
Hmm.
really bad at geography, so I'm not even gonna start to try and say their names. Like
Need to
I
get yourself
really
a
truly
scratch map.
apologize. I need like an atlas or something. I'm awful. I had a lot of dates coming up and I was really excited and then obviously
Yeah.
quarantine happened and
Hmm.
but look, those dates will come back to me like next year hopefully and then I'll start to break in.
Yeah. Hopefully. So like, how do you feel about traveling for wrestling? Is that something that was kind of on your agenda like early on? Were you thinking about that?
I never thought I'd do it because ever since I started I was so negative and I didn't think I was a good wrestler and like and I didn't think this was for me. Like I was in a really bad negative headspace, and I think a lot of wrestlers are in that.
Hmm.
Like, I think we're told like not to be cocky, this, that, the other. So like you go from like one end of the spectrum to the other end of the spectrum, like completely hating yourself. There's no middle ground of being like,
Yeah.
oh yeah, I'm confident, like I've room to improve, or like this, that. No, there's you're either too cocky or you're like you hate yourself.
Yeah.
But like I was always in that like negative headspace, and then after the fight, I opened my Twitter and I was like, what, fierce females want me to come over, like, and like Katie Harvey and I think Debbie Keitel were over. I can't remember if Valkyrie wrestled on it before. I think she did. But I couldn't believe it because I was still so new, and but they were the kind of first promotion to kind of really give me a shot, like abroad, to kind of be like, yeah, we want you over here, like come over, like show us what you can do. And I wrestled Katie Harvey on my first show over there, and it was so much fun.
That's pretty cool. Someone that you knew as well. Obviously to break it into that kind of scene probably made things a little bit easier, did it?
We all went over. It was amazing.
Mm.
Like me, Kate Harvey, Debbie, Valkyrie, even Raven Creed came over as well. So there was like most of the Irish girls were over there. It was amazing to break in with so many different girls.
Oh, that's pretty cool. Um, so they're the other promotions that you've worked for, which they're pretty cool. And traveling obviously has a huge part in the scene. But this is something that I've been asking people. Do you think that the Irish and UK scene, do you think you could make a living out of just working the Irish and UK scene at the moment? Like it used to always be a case that everyone was kind of looking at, oh, I have to go to Japan or I have to go to the States, where now it's becoming a thing where, in my view, that it looks like you can actually do it here, that you don't need to go to those places.
I think it's very doable, but it's very hard. Like anyone who's doing it, like you just have to commend them and like
Hmm.
pat on the back, huge pat on the back. Like it is doable, but it's really hard. Like a lot of people will be wrestling like 4 or 5 times a week. Like it's really
Yeah.
hard in your body. Like alone, like never alone, like mentally, like having to travel to so many different places. But like again, if you love it, like it's definitely doable, and it's 100% something that I want to do. Like like wherever like wrestling manages to take me, like I don't know where it's gonna take me. I could be anywhere, or I could be not doing it anymore. Like anything could happen in the next year or whatever. But like it's definitely like a goal of mine to like wrestling to be my main source of income.
It's cool. And do you have another job at the moment? Are you working another job, or is wrestling your
I'm
salary?
kind of everywhere. Like I work part time, like and jobs don't really like the fact that I'm a wrestler, so I'm in and out of jobs because like what you want every weekend off? Like
Yeah.
no, I don't think so. Like so I've been in and out of jobs.
Yeah, I think that's the common trend as well. I think wrestlers are very lucky if they can get themselves a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday so that they can free up the time. Like I work shift work myself and I can't even get a 9 to 5 Monday to Friday, you know. But it obviously wrestling is what you want to do full time.
Yeah,
So if you could leave it all
definitely.
behind and go completely full time. And is there anywhere, like, do you have your sights set on kind of anywhere or any place to kind of go to? Not even promotions, but even like places in the world that you'd like to go to train.
Like I'm willing to go anywhere. Like I feel like people have their sights set on a certain place, and that's amazing. But like
Hmm.
I'm in a situation now where I'm like I don't know where I'm gonna go. I don't know what I'm gonna be doing, and like because even if I compare myself to last year, like this time last year I was like wrestling maybe once a month, once every second month, and then all of a sudden I'm like the number one contender for the OT title. Anything can happen in wrestling. You just have to be ready, like mentally and physically, to go and do anything. So like wherever wrestling's gonna take me, I'm ready to go.
So you mentioned that you're the number one contender, and that's something that's amazing in one hand, but then was a bit disappointing, obviously, with what actually happened because you were set to fight for the title at Scrappermania,
Yes.
and obviously Scrapper got cancelled. Um, that's a bit of a hit, I'm presuming. Can you tell me how you kind of felt when you got that kind of news?
Um, it was like I don't want to say bittersweet because I wasn't happy that it was cancelled. Like it was devastating that it was cancelled, but the nerves coming up to that show, I've never felt so nervous for a show. Like because I was training, like I was going to work, I was going to training, and then I was going to the gym, and then I was going home, and I was doing that every day, just so I'd be ready. Like I like because I didn't want like my body to like fail me or whatever. Like I wanted to have good like cardio. I wanted to be like whatever that show was going to bring me. I wanted to be ready. like this, like I don't know how to like put into words like the stress that I was under, but like of course I was looking forward to it, like because like I'm being honest when I say this in wrestling, like the OTT Women's Championship has been everything that I've set my sights on. Like anything could happen to me, I could win any other title in the world, but like this one just means the most to me personally, in my opinion. Like
Mhm.
it's the title that I want to hold. Like I could go anywhere in the world and win any single title, but the OTT Women's Championship is just everything to me, and it's the most important one to me. So, like, of course, I was looking forward to it, but I was petrified. So when it was cancelled, I was heartbroken. Like I did cry like a lot, but I was kind of like, okay, so the next time this comes around now, I'm not gonna be hating myself for the week coming up to it. I'm gonna be ready. I'm gonna be confident, and I know that this is where I'm meant to be. So the next time it comes around, like Sammy Jane just needs to be ready, because I'm just gonna be a completely different person mentally, and that's like the biggest battle of them all.
You put up a picture on was it on Instagram or on Twitter? I can't remember where I seen it.
Yeah.
And it's a bit of a war beaten Amy Allonsy. I think that picture spoke 1,000 words. I looked at that and I was kind of like, this girl's ready to go. She's ready for war here. Is that the message that you were trying to put across with that picture?
Yeah, I wasn't sure whether to put it up for a while, because it's kind of like, I don't know if this is what I want to like portray.
Hmm.
Because up until now, I've kind of been like, oh my god, like I'm in Atlanta, like unicorns, whoa, like, but that is me, like, and I think that's like, I want to like tell the world that like it's alright to be happy go lucky, and it's alright to be dancing and flossing this that the other, but when it's go time, it's go time.
Hmm.
And that was what I was going to prove at the National Stadium, that I'm not just like this girl who's going to get into the ring and floss. Like I was ready to go, and I was ready to win that championship. Oh, when telling you, when Scrapper Mania comes around again, I'm ready. I'm so ready to prove the world.
Well, we have a date set. Now, obviously, things are up in the air and we don't know what's going to happen between now and then, but there's a date set for Halloween 2020, 31st of October in the National Stadium at the 6th year anniversary. Is your sight set on the 6th year anniversary for that title shot?
Anything could happen if we can get Sami Zayn over. That's it. Like I want the title, and I'm gonna keep it here. I'm gonna bring it home, and it's gonna be our title. It's gonna stay in Dublin.
I think the fans are well and truly behind you. A lot of people, from what I saw as well, although, like, don't get me wrong, like Star and Moxley was huge. Like, absolutely, to get Moxley over in itself is just huge. But the outpouring of stuff that I saw, that the amount of people who were saying that they were so disappointed that Amy wasn't going to get her shot, that Amy wasn't getting her match with Sammy, and it like the people are there behind you. They want this match. Probably not as much as you do, because your passion there was it's phenomenal. But yeah, we're well and truly behind you with that title shot, and like hopefully it does come soon.
I couldn't believe it, because like I came from a situation where I was like, oh, like maybe I'm not like the most important match in the card. Like again, my brain, like I think it's really important to like address this, like that, like a lot of wrestlers like think about this about themselves, and like
Hmm.
maybe I'll be the one to be like, hey, like sometimes we like don't like ourselves in wrestling, and it's okay. But like to go from being like, oh, like this match obviously meant everything to me, but I
Yeah,
was kind of like, oh, like maybe it won't mean that much to everyone else. And when it was cancelled, like tweets just flew in, and I just like I was really taken aback by how much support. Like I don't even know how to repay everyone. Like I was just so thankful that like the amount of support that I received.
yeah. I think that's what I was trying to kind of get across with earlier when I was speaking about your pre-show match at Scrapper. Was it the fifth anniversary? Or was it Scrapper?
Fifth anniversary, I'm really
Yeah,
bad at show
yeah, I
names.
know. I'm the same. I've been to so many now. The fifth anniversary, your pre-show match. Like I think that's the thing. It doesn't matter whether you're first on the card or you're last on the card. Like if you're wrestling in the National Stadium in front of 2,200 fans, your match is important,
Yeah,
regardless of where it is on the card. And for any, if there's any wrestlers even watching this or listening to this and they do have those kind of doubts, don't. Us fans think that your match is important regardless. As I said, if it's first on the card or last on the card, there's no most important match. They're all important matches, and
yeah.
we're there for all of them. So yeah, I can understand that you do have those feelings in yourself, but you don't need to have those feelings. We're there for it. So one thing that I want to ask you, is there any kind of advice now looking back? Is there any kind of advice that you would give yourself stepping into the wrestling business? If you could talk to your younger self now getting into it, is there any kind of advice that you give yourself that you didn't know then?
I'd just say train everywhere and just be confident in yourself. Because now, like, I like to think that I'm quite confident, but of course everyone has doubts, and no matter what they do in the world, like, you could be like the biggest star in the world, but of course you're going to doubt yourself. But you need, the most important thing in wrestling is to have confidence in yourself, because the second that I got confidence in myself, like, I just became a different performer.
Hmm.
Like, and I think you can kind of tell, like, over the last year I've just been a completely different wrestler, and I'm really proud of that. And then obviously train everywhere. So listen to everybody. Like, and bad experiences you learn from just as much as you learn from good experiences. And I think a lot of people don't kind of realize that. Like, if you're in a bad situation, you can kind of look at it and be like, okay, this is bad, but I've like learned from it. Like, and I'm like a better human being now. Like, that's like leaps and bounds above what you get from just having one good match. Like 10 bad matches, you learn from more than just one good match. And just be confident and train everywhere. Young Amy, listen to me.
That's extremely good advice. So can we talk about your influences? Is there anything that kind of influences you, or any kind of person or thing or anything that you hold there that kind of spurs you on to go where you need to go in wrestling?
I think it's like the very common answer, but of course, like Becky Lynch,
Hmm.
always since day one. Like her NXT days, like when she was still doing that Irish dancing gimmick, like I like ate it up. I loved it, and like because obviously I was 15 at the time, so of course I was on like Twitter and stuff, like following everything and like being on Twitter, like because I was 15 and like I didn't know any better. But like when she debuted on Raw, I was like, she's from Dublin, like Joe, and like so many people trained her, and she's there, like she's on television now, and like, and if I could tell myself, she'd be like, oh, she'd main event WrestleMania, she'd be like, she'd be the first like women's SmackDown champion, like so many things she's done since then, like she held both Raw and SmackDown, like what, like she's from Dublin, like she trained in, like she's from Ireland, she's from basically around the corner, and she's done all this, like that's so inspiring, and especially for 15-year-old me, because like I was so like down and in on myself, and like I was like, if she can do it, like any one of us can do it, and it's so inspiring and forever thankful. I even got to like meet her at a training session before, and I told her all this, and she was in tears and I was in tears, and it was like we like hugged each other, and it was the best moment ever. And that again, another moment where like something clicked in my head. I was like, this is what I'm here for.
That's amazing. I love those little stories. I love the stories where you actually get to meet these people. A lot of people
Oh,
say don't meet your idols because like you'll just be disappointed. But like I've met a couple of mine and I haven't been.
oh,
And it sounds like you were into either with Becky. Um, she's an absolute class act. I never met her myself, but from what I've seen of her, she's absolutely class.
she's an angel, like an angel.
But as you said, like that, you saw Becky on WWE, and did the penny kind of drop with you then? Like obviously, like it's a huge stage, and you did kind of say it there as well. But like, were you thinking like she's after doing it? I can go do this now. The door is there. Was it
I
something
didn't
that
even,
you kind of didn't
yeah.
think about before that even like?
I I don't know what clicked in my head where I was like, oh my god, like I need to do this. But like I didn't even know there was Irish wrestling at the time.
Hmm.
I was so oblivious because like whatever's on the telly I was watching, so I was staying up for Raw and I was staying up for SmackDown, like, and then I was going to school like then after like 3 hours of like broken sleep.
Yeah, been
And
there.
I hadn't a clue, had not a clue that there was Irish wrestling. And the second that I found like Irish wrestling, I was like, oh wow, like it's here, like it's on my doorstep, like, and I just threw everything at it.
So we spoke about Becky, but OTT actually manages to attract a lot of big names in the industry, very big names. And we already spoke that you've been in the ring with a couple of them as well. Um, well, have you ever been starstruck by anyone?
I have an amazing story for this, and I don't think I've actually got to tell this yet. So I was the Stardust fan. Like Stardust fan, you would think of me. loved Stardust. All of a sudden, Cody Rhodes was at OTT, and I don't know if it was like a test from Joe, but I was like the person who kind of like looked after him all
Mhm.
day. Like, it was the most amazing experience ever. Like, he is such a lovely person, and I got to like be around him all day. It was like, I could not believe, because even then, like, I don't think I was wrestling that often. Like, I was mostly like a runner and merch girl, like, and I was really like responsible at ring crew. So Joe was like, oh yeah, can you like make sure he's looked after for the whole day? Sold all of his t-shirts, like did everything for him, like, and like I don't even know how to tell you like how amazing that experience was. Like, obviously he's gone on and done so much more since
Yeah.
then, but like just that little experience. And then there's another one. Like, Dean Ambrose is the reason that I got into wrestling.
Mhm.
Like, I was watching a pay-per-view online once on YouTube, and I was kind of like, oh, this is mad. Like, I haven't seen this since I was like a kid. Like, whatever. Like, didn't have any interest in wrestling, but the television blew up in his face, and I was like, oh, what am I watching? This is amazing. And that was the moment where I just started watching wrestling, and I loved Dean Ambrose. And then I was gonna have a title shot while he was on the same show as me for like the most important championship ever. Like, I just, like, my little brain couldn't comprehend how everything came full circle that day. Of course it didn't happen, but it was just the fact that it was gonna happen. It's crazy.
And have you met him before?
No,
No. So that
nope.
was that was a bit of a kick then when that show got cancelled.
I'm hoping he'll come back over, like, because obviously, like, he seemed very like interested in coming over. It's
Mhm.
obviously very hard to get him and stuff, but like, I hope one day maybe I can meet him and be like, hey, like, thanks for the huge influence, like,
Yeah.
and maybe I'll win my championship in the same show that he's won. Who knows?
Well, Joe, we spoke about this on the show and on previous shows. Joe has a lot of connections in the business, and I'm sure a draw like John Moxley as he's going as now, I'm sure like it's been there before. He's had it booked before. I'm sure Joe can get that sorted. When it's gonna happen, we don't know, but like we could probably guarantee that Joe's gonna get him back over again. Like.
Who knows? Who knows?
And hopefully you do get to meet him. So when you have been kind of on the shows with these kind of again we talk about these huge stars in the industry, um, have you ever sought any advice from any of them?
um, yeah, like, I think it is a good thing to like pick a lot of their brains. But on show days, it's very hard to like
Yeah,
come up and speak to somebody because it's just hectic.
yeah,
Like, I wish I could explain, like, especially OTT days, like, it's just mayhem, like, all the time, and you don't want to kind of like, because if they're put their gear on, or they're got like, do you know what I mean? Like, thinking
yeah.
about like the way they're gonna wrestle that day, like, you kind of just want to leave them alone, kind of thing. I don't know if that's kind of like really bad advice, but I just find that it's easier to kind of pick the brain of the people that you are wrestling.
Yeah.
But obviously, it's really good to go and pick the brain of like people who are like really important on the show. I just think like shows are bedlam a lot of the time.
Yeah, that does seem to be the kind of trend that does come across. Show days are probably the wrong time to do it,
Yeah.
because like you just don't have the time or they don't have the time. But it seems to be that like the people who you're working with, and if you have 5 minutes, that like they're the times to kind of get that advice off them. And obviously like you've traveled with a lot of these bigger stars as well, like even looking at the NXT UK scene, like you've worked with a lot of these people. um is there any kind of advice that you've received from any of them that kind of sticks with you at all?
Um, I think a really good like example of that is, I don't know if you know the wrestler Eva Lise.
I've
She
heard the
wrestled for
name, yeah.
Lucha
I've never
Underground
seen
and
her yet.
stuff. I spent like 3 days with her at one of the weekends that I did. So I wrestled 2 days for Source, and then I did the first females on the Sunday, and we stayed in the same hotel room. Like, and she was a huge star to me, and she still is. She's amazing. Like, but like, just like, you know, when you're like in a hotel room and it's like late night chat, like it's like having a sleepover with someone basically. And you know, when it gets to like 2 a.m. and you're like talking about life and all of this stuff, like, I just learned so much from her because she's been through so much in the business. And that was another weekend where I was kind of like, I need to have confidence in myself, and I need to believe in myself, because she's very confident and she like
Hmm.
believes in herself, and she's done so much. And that was a huge example for me that I was like, confidence is everything in this business, because she's amazing and like she's confident in herself. And look where it's gotten her. Like, it's
Yeah.
amazing to think about that.
We'd step away from wrestling for a second.
Okay.
So I just want to ask you about just get into your personal life a little bit if you don't mind.
No, that's
Like
cool.
not too deep, obviously, but so do you have any other hobbies outside of wrestling? Obviously, you said that like you like fitness as well as another thing, but apart from kind of like fitness and wrestling, the things that go hand in hand with training, is there anything else apart from that you're kind of into? What else do you do?
I love music. Like,
Hmm.
if I wasn't going to be a wrestler, I'd want to be a singer or some sort of musician. Like, that's what I wanted to do from the time I was like 2. Like, I thought I was going to be a singer, but somehow I ended up as a wrestler. So, but like, if I'm not watching wrestling, if I'm not training, like, I'm listening to music, or I'm playing my guitar, I'm playing my ukulele, something like I'm doing something to do with music. Like, that's everything to me.
Okay, this is news to me. So do you put these up on Instagram?
No, I wish like
Why?
I don't know. Like, I'm gonna start a YouTube channel over quarantine, and I'm gonna become YouTube famous and be a famous singer, but like, it just never happened. Like, it's just one of those things. Maybe, I don't know. Who knows, one day.
Yeah, like I'm very intrigued in this. Like I'm into me music as well. I like sing to myself. Um,
Ah,
I play a little bit of
start a band.
guitar, and I've put a couple of videos up on my personal Instagram that I don't advertise on here. So if you can go and find it, go and find it.
There you go. Plug,
Um,
plug, plug.
the only one that I'm plugging is the one that's down there below the screen. But, yeah, no, like I've mustered up a bit of the courage to throw up a couple of videos. Now, as I said, that like I think one of my mates was asking me, I literally just put up the guitar, so like it's just showing the guitar and like you can hear me singing. But he's like, why didn't you like put up the whole thing of you? And I go like, I don't want to be a bit vulgar here, but I said like when I sing, like, did you ever see the Commitments?
No.
You what, Amy,
I
get your
know.
shit together, will you? Like, anyway, there's a the lead singer on that. He pulls these faces, when he's singing, and I call them sex faces. So and I noticed that I kind of pull the same faces when I'm singing, so that's why I don't
I
worry.
think no. Everybody, I think, pulls faces when they're singing.
Yeah,
Well, I do anyway. Everyone does. I think you're just expressing yourself.
you're
You're
into
feeling
it,
the
like,
music, so
yeah.
you're gonna make a face. I don't look.
Listen, go watch the Commitments. Like, sacrilege, like, absolute sacrilege. Um, right, so um, I think I know the answer to this. Are you married?
No.
Oh, too young. Are you in a
Too.
relationship?
Yeah.
Can we divulge who the relationship is with?
I don't know the answer to
Okay,
that question.
okay, we're keeping it
I
kayfabe.
think it's very obvious if you
Yeah,
search my
I
Instagram.
think, yeah, I think we do. Everyone knows, but yeah, we won't mention it here. How does this mystery person feel about you wrestling?
He loves it.
For
He's very
for
nah.
obvious reasons.
At the moment, I go out with Darren Carney, and he is probably the most supportive person I've ever met in my life.
Mhm.
Again, another angel in the Irish wrestling scene, and like, he's just, again, provided so much confidence in me to like be a better wrestler. So there you go. That's the answer to that question.
Have you wrestled them before?
Yeah, a few times I think. Trinity Brawl is one of those, and we have been a tag team,
Mhm.
and I also wrestled him at Phoenix as well. So yeah, a few times.
Who's the better wrestler?
I think we're both equally good in the wrestling
Oh,
scene,
that's
and we
such.
both like to have confidence in each other. We have both provided a lot.
That was the. I was actually expecting that answer as well. Um, so obviously, you're about wrestlers.
Yeah.
So I usually ask this one way, but because he's a wrestler as well. So while you're in the ring or when you're having a match, how does he feel about you in the ring? Does he be nervous? Does he be worried? Does he be giving you advice before matches? Anything like that?
I think it's just weird because obviously you're like, oh my god, I hope nothing happens to them, but like, we're both wrestlers, so we
Hmm.
kind of know what we're getting ourselves into. Because I feel like if like it was the other way around and he wasn't a wrestler, he'd probably be like,
Yeah.
but we kind of like, we train together like all the time, so we
Hmm.
kind of know what we're both capable of. So when we get into the ring, like, it's more kind of like confident
Yeah.
in each other, if that kind of makes sense.
And is that the same way the other way around? If he's in the ring and you're watching the match, would you feel the same way?
he does a lot of crazy stuff
He
though.
does.
So like sometimes I'm kind of like, but like I have full faith in him that he's able to do everything that he can do. So it's more of like a less of it. Oh my god, I hope nothing goes wrong because nothing's gonna go wrong. Like he's so confident and well able to do everything that he does.
Have you done the Darren Carney kick up challenge?
No, I can't. I'm sorry.
I was did you see Justy's one?
Yeah.
It was like I was wincing watching it. It was the noise was excruciating. Like I was like, this fella's gonna have no legs left. Fair play to him though on hardwood. I don't know. At least Darren did it on a bit of carpet. Maybe Darren needs to do it on some hardwood. Show how manly he actually is. So the next one that I have is, do you have any kids? And again, I think I already know the answer to that.
No, because we all know Session Martina is my mother, so like
Yeah, she has too many kids as well.
yes.
So in the wrestling world, then, who would you say would be your best friends in wrestling? Who do you always bounce off?
Over the last year, I've like made so many new friends. Like in
Mhm,
wrestling, like I feel like I'm friends with everyone in wrestling. But I find like lately, like a lot of the more than hype lads, like I feel like I can go to them about anything. Like especially LJ Cleary, like I would consider him my trainer over the last year because like I've trained under him a lot. I got the tag team with him a lot. Like we're the first intergender tag team champions in Ireland. Like we got to do that together. Like it's amazing. Like and especially as like my trainer over the last year, I've learned so much from him. And obviously Darren and Nathan's amazing as well. Like I've travelled with them a lot. It's like going up and down the country. Like I'd consider myself closest to them at the moment.
that's cool. Let's talk about that for a second, actually. You mentioned the intergender tag team champions, for NLW.
Yes.
Now I went to my first NLW show, which was the last one. And
I
yeah, unfortunately we didn't get to
had a
see.
golf ball on my head.
Yeah, so that was from the night before. So what happened in that match? I remember. I think I spoke to you at the show about this as well. Um,
uh, I don't like. I don't even want to tell you what I was on because it's so dumb. But look, I'm happy and healthy now. If anyone can figure out what it was on, I'm sorry if you can figure out what it was on because it was so dumb. But it was at the very start of the match, and like the people in the match didn't even notice what happened. Like, and I was just like, and there's a moment you can see me crawl over the fox, and I'm like, yeah. Well, I got through it completely fine, and then like I got checked and stuff. I was fine. I just like took a week off just to be safe
mhm,
because anything to do with head injuries, like, do not play around with.
yeah,
Like, I'm telling you this now, do not play around with head injuries. If you end up in the hospital and they tell you that you don't have a head injury, just take it that you do. Take a week, take 2 weeks, because especially in wrestling, like we are throwing ourselves at the ground for
mhm,
fun. So just, and you only have one body, like you've one brain and you've one everything. So just don't take it for granted. Like treat your body like a temple. Like I'm not gonna get all yoga and like meditation and all this kind of stuff. But like look after yourself. So
did Joe say anything to you after the match about that? Because
he loved it.
Joe's had his own concerns with more so the head injuries as well in the past. Like,
He preaches what like I'm preaching, and
yeah,
obviously a lot of my stuff comes from Joe because
hmm
he is my primary trainer. Like, and I look up to him in the wrestling business. Like, he is very like look after your head, look after your body. Like, and of course, like he was like, oh yeah, take time off, like this, that, the other. Like, and if, just listen to people when they tell you to take time off. Like, that's another thing. Like, people in wrestling need to understand that. Like, look after your body. You've only one, and especially if you wrestle like a lot more like athletically than I would, because I don't do anything too crazy. Like just look after yourself. That's all that I'd like to say. And if you have to miss a show, you have to miss a show, as heartbreaking as it was, because that NLW show was the first show in my whole career that I had to pull out of.
hmm
Like up until then, I never pulled out of a show. Like if I was sick, which is probably the wrong thing to do now that like we're in a pandemic. Like now that I've thought about it all, like if you're sick, don't wrestle other people. If you're injured, do not wrestle other people. Like this is advice that a lot of people kind of need to listen to.
yeah. If anyone else is watching this or listening to this, check out me show with Frankie, where Frankie actually discussed this in length because Frankie actually did suffer with a few concussions in the past and took a very bad bump, and how that affected him afterwards. We went through a lot of that. So if you want to delve into that a bit more, go back and listen to Frankie's, and also listen to Joe on Tony Kelly's podcast, because Joe delves into
Yeah,
that a bit as well.
yeah.
I nearly cried during that show. That was totes emotional. Um, but yeah, that match. Do you remember that match? Did the bump knock it out of you, or were you okay?
I remember the match.
Hmm.
It wasn't too bad.
Yeah,
It looked worse
it
than
looked
it
very bad
was.
on the day. Yeah,
Like there was a moment where like I look out to the crowd and someone just goes, "Holy shit!" And I didn't even know there was nothing on my head, and I was like, "What's wrong? What's the matter here?" And that oh, I'm fine now. Like I'm completely fine. Like it's all healed. Like there's nothing there anymore, so it's nothing to worry about. It was just an inconvenience at the time.
what did you think about the pop at the end?
Like I was expecting something like, and again it was my first time wrestling in that venue, and I was like the crowd might not know me, they might just know my face, but I think they knew me.
The pop was immense. That was a real pop heavy show as well, because like
Yeah,
everything for the for Scrapper was set up in that show.
yeah,
But
everything.
yeah, it was probably my favorite show outside of the stadium. It was amazing. But like that pop at the end that you got for winning was phenomenal. And then we thought that Martina was going to turn heel on you, and she didn't. Thankfully.
She
But
wasn't
then
turning her child, she
I
can't
was
turn me
quite,
away like
yeah, I
that.
was kind of cursing it a little bit, because I was kind of like, I didn't want to see it, but then I was kind of thinking back, and I was like, if she did, that would have been pretty cool. Like that would set up a lot of good stuff. Um, but no, that was a huge pop, and then we actually got two pops in that match, because we got the next pop straight after that match.
CT.
Yeah, did did that take away at all for you? I'm just asking from your perspective. Obviously, you got your pop and you got your moment, but obviously you have to get out of there then to set up the next part, which is CT coming out for Debbie. So,
No, it took nothing away. Like in my opinion,
mm,
maybe I'm a bit oblivious, but I had my moment, and
yeah,
like my moment was gonna come at the National Stadium. So how long do I kind of need to relish in that
yeah,
kind of thing? And that CT moment is one of my favorite moments in wrestling. Full stop. So I don't think it took anything away from me. If anything, it added to it. Like
yeah.
so much good came out of that match, and I'm really, really proud of that match and everything that came out afterwards. So it wouldn't affect me at all.
The only thing it was missing was a Martina heel turn. Um, so, I just want to ask you then about your future. So, where do you see Amy Allonsy going? So, if you can break it down into kind of a short term and a long term. So, in the short term, so when we get back to wrestling, then the next year or two after that, where do you see Amy Allonsy?
My answer to that question is I don't know. Like, and I could have a plan, I could have no
Hmm.
plan, but wrestling's gonna do what it wants, and it's gonna turn and twist the way that it wants to. So anything in the whole universe could happen. A goal of mine is to go to Japan. Like, I
Hmm.
feel like I'd be kind of cool in Japan. Like, I'd love to go there and I'd love to train there. Like, the training that they do over there is incredible, and the whole experience of being able to wrestle over there would be like incredible. So that's one thing that I like. Is it a goal? You want to say a goal? Like if I have the
Absolutely.
opportunity to
Yeah.
go, yes, I would love to go. And then anything else that comes with it, who knows? Like I'm ready and willing to do anything that
Yeah.
wrestling throws at me.
So I think that the long term goal then would be the exact same answer then.
Yes,
Yeah.
whatever. Anything that comes at me, I'm ready to do.
So obviously you were this is something that I just wanted to ask you. You were around when a lot of other Irish wrestlers went over for their big tryout. Was it last year?
Yeah.
Um,
The start of last year, yeah.
yeah. Um, where obviously you weren't in it that long, but you were there. Were you a bit upset that you didn't get the show?
No, and I feel like that answer to that question kind of like makes everyone kind of be like, like, why were you not upset? Like, again, like WWE is the reason I started watching wrestling,
Hmm.
but I was not ready for a WWE tryout when that happened. So it didn't break my heart, like, because I knew in my head I was like, I'm not ready, and if I went over there, it was going to blow whatever opportunity that I was given. So in a way that I'm kind of thankful Because if they come knocking on my door anytime soon, I know mentally and physically and my wrestling abilities, I'm ready. If you know where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Like, in a way, I'm thankful I didn't get it then because I wasn't ready as a wrestler or as a human being. I was not ready to go. And then obviously, of course, I was like, why am I not there? So it was a good kind of kick up the arse for me to take a step back and be like, why am I not there? And then I sprung into action. So whatever comes knocking at my door over the next year or two, in my mind, like, I'm ready to go. If that's a good answer.
That's a very, very good answer. So I reached out to a couple of people asking them for some questions that they may have wanted to ask you. So Damien Craig asks, how did you come up with the nickname the Irish Unicorn?
There's so much backstory to this. So I wrestled once with that unicorn gear on, and I wasn't a big fan of it because I was like, "Oh, it's too childish. Like, people are gonna like compare it to other gimmicks that are out there nowadays." Like, but then Trinity Brawl, the first one came around, and that was the first time I wore that gear. And they told me that I wasn't allowed on the show if I didn't wear the unicorn gear because it's money. I was like, okay, I'm gonna wear it, and I wore it, and that birthed the new Amy Allonsy. I like to think because ever since then it just went. And yeah, so that's where the Irish Unicorn came from. And then I was over in Glasgow, and I was like, I need people to know that I'm Irish. I'm the Irish Unicorn.
That's a fair answer. So Tommy Flynn asks, is there someone that you haven't faced in Irish wrestling that you'd like to face? Is there anyone that you have your sights on?
I've a million answers to this question, and I'm gonna try and narrow it down. I really want to wrestle LJ Cleary on like an OTT show. I think like I'd learn so much from actually being able to be one on one with him.
Mm-hmm.
And then maybe one that's like, hopefully in the future when shows start to come back up again, I really want to wrestle like Fabio from Fight Factory
Mm-hmm.
for his championship. Again, that kid, like, he's amazing for like how little he's done in wrestling, and like amazing, and
Mm-hmm.
I'd love to wrestle him when things come back to normal.
Yeah, I've never been to a Fight Factory show live, but I have actually seen loads of them, and Fabio is phenomenal. Um,
Amazing.
like he's like, would we say he's like the Scotty Davis of Fight Factory?
Maybe. I don't know. Because
Um,
he's younger, like, because obviously like, there's Justin who's like 15, 16.
yeah,
Like, like I wish I was that good when I was that age. Like, these kids are amazing now. It's so inspiring to see though, like, because it's gonna be a completely new business.
hmm
Like in 2 or 3 years time, like they're gonna be at the top.
yeah. I think that mentality as well is, and you're even included in this bracket. Like you're saying that these kids, like you're still young yourself, like don't be selling yourself short here. But like yeah, like their mentality is ridiculous. Justin put up a video there last week, and I was watching, and I was like, this fella, what age is he? 15, 16?
Yeah,
I was like, he's talking like he's 40. I was
I
saying,
think like we're in a different business now, in my opinion. Like everything's so positive and
Mhm,
everyone's so supportive of each other. So when these like the younger generation of wrestlers are coming up, like so much more of a positive influence on them, and they're so much more supportive of everyone. And I think that's for the new generation in general. Like a lot of the kids, they're just so accepting of everything. Like I know I'm saying kid as in like I'm not a kid, but like the difference between me and like the new generation is still 5 years. Like
yeah.
because I'm 20 now, like I'm like the other generation think I'm old. I don't think I'm old. Like I'm 20, but if you know where I'm coming from, I'm not a teenager anymore.
Yeah,
And it's amazing to see that there's so much more accepting.
absolutely. So Declan Bourne asks, who came up with the Toasty idea in First Females, and would you ever bring Toasty over to OTT?
So it wasn't my idea. I will hold my hand up and say that it was Emily Hayden's idea.
Hmm.
So she did a stipulation match in First Females where like she jammed the other girl's hand into a toaster, and that birthed Toasty because of like apparently it went wild on Twitter. Like the toaster wasn't even plugged in, but she has turned this toaster into basically a human being, and I'm in love with the toaster. So we are great friends, me and Toasty.
We are trying to take Toasty away from Emily.
So you're in a love triangle. It's complicated.
Yeah. So you spoke there about the fight in LJ.
Yeah.
Um, do you think that um do you think that that would actually be a big possibility? Maybe not even an OTT, but maybe in Fight Factory or NLW. I think I'd look at NLW. Maybe it would be the perfect place for that. If falling out over the tag belts and then into a feud. But I don't know. That's just me speculating.
Who
But
knows? I don't know. I hope we don't fall out over the tag belts. I think we're a great team. NLW is like a different realm of Irish wrestling. It's amazing.
yeah, like they are completely different shows as well. But with Fabio, then, he is the Irish Junior
Junior
Heavyweight
heavyweight.
Champion,
Yeah.
and you want to get into a ring with him. Do you want to get
Yeah.
into a ring with him to fight him for the Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship? Is that something that you have
Absolutely.
your sights on?
Yes. And I think I'm really lucky because I've actually like got to do a lot of intergender in Fight Factory, which is
Mhm.
not something that I think a lot of people look at my gimmick and they're kind of like intergender, and I'm kind of like yes, because I got to wrestle Sammy D on one of the shows, and then I was in that Irish Junior Heavyweight Championship scramble as well, and I was the only girl in that
Yeah.
match, and I was like I've done a lot of intergender in my time, especially in NLW, like a complete family friendly show, and I'm the first intergender champion, and I've wrestled like lads. It's amazing. Like I always like see like a lot of the younger like little girls come up to me and they're always like, oh my god, you kicked his arse, and I'm like, yeah, I did. You can do it too. We are all the same. You can kick anybody's ass. You tell them, little Stacy, like it's amazing.
So do you prefer intergender wrestling to strictly women's wrestling?
I love it all. Like you take something different from every
Yeah.
different match. Like you learn so much from no matter who you're in the ring with. Like I just think again, like you wrestle a bit differently, but like uh, you learn something from every match that you have, and I genuinely have no preference.
Yeah, I'd love to see you and Darren in an OTT ring. Um, see how the relationship holds up. So what I do at the end of every show, and what I will be doing at the end of every show, is ask my 22 quick fire questions, random number.
22.
Yeah, random
Oh
number.
no.
Now a lot of them are very straightforward. So
Okay.
I do say that these are quick fire, but if you want to expand on anything, you can. That's perfectly fine. Um, I'm not pushed for time, so you can talk as much as you want about these. So we'll just fire
Wait,
away.
wait, wait, wait. I just want to preface. I'm really bad at quick fire questions, so any of my questions I apologize for.
Okay, so question one. Who is your favorite wrestler?
Becky Lynch.
Easy. Um, so do you have a favorite wrestling theme song?
Sami Zayn's one is amazing.
It's class.
Yeah.
Better than yours?
Ooh. Yes.
Okay. Um, so what's your favorite match that you have been involved in?
Ooh. It changes every day, but I think Trinity Brawl, now that I'm thinking about it, I think that's my favorite.
Yeah, you
The
do have
second one,
so
the
many
second
good ones.
Trinity Brawl.
Yeah, you do have so many good ones, and I think that's one that's always going to change depending on what you're thinking about or what way you're looking about at the
Yeah.
time. So do you have a favorite Irish match that you haven't been involved in?
Be Cool versus Orange Cassidy.
Amazing. Do you have a favorite match outside of Irish wrestling? Like, would you look at something on a bigger stage that you'd kind of look at and say that's one of my favorite matches ever?
Oh, there's too many. I can't pinpoint something. I'm awful. I'm awful at pinpointing something. Awful.
That's cool. But Be Cool and Orange Cassidy, that was phenomenal.
It's like amazing. Like, and then Be Cool versus Paddy Morrow as well. Amazing match. Be Cool is amazing. Paddy Morrow is amazing. Put them in the ring together and it's just
I
chef's kiss.
I don't think comedy wrestling gets the adulation that they deserve as well. I think a lot of people think that comedy wrestling is strictly they're comedy, they can't go.
It
But
has a bad rep and I don't know why. I'll never
Probably
understand that.
Cornet.
I don't want to start shooting names.
Yeah,
Yeah.
no, I will. Like Jim Cornet talking absolute pony. Like he was good for the 80s and 90s, but yeah,
I'm
you
throwing my hands up.
you don't have to comment on this. Um, but obviously we spoke about one of your injuries. Have you had other injuries?
um, like niggling injuries, left, right. Like it's nothing serious. So
No
no.
major big injuries. I was just gonna ask what your worst one was.
Um, I don't know. Like it's just like stuff that's like
Like that's good. If you
nothing
haven't had a
serious.
big injury, that's even better.
I probably the golf ball on my head. The
Touch wood.
alien that decided to grow.
I have to. I'll probably do it in the video post as well. I'll throw a picture up of that golf ball, over this so everyone can see it. So who would you say has the best mic skills in OTT?
Ooh. Like I feel like I'm being really biased, but Be Cool is amazing.
hmm
Be, be Cool. Be
Yeah,
Cool's the
his
best.
his name has popped up a couple of times, so you're not the first person to say it. So this is a bit of a thinker as well, and like you could well be included in this, um,
Ooh.
because like I have had more like I don't know more veteran type on who have probably been doing it a lot longer, like, but no offense to anybody, so no offense to anybody with this question, but if you had to pick one person, just one, who was going to go extremely far in the wrestling business, like the absolute pinnacle, who would be your one person that you would say that's the person that's gonna do it?
I don't want to start controversy now. I think Valkyrie's doing amazing things.
hmm
So Valkyrie is my pick for
So
that question.
just
No,
just to put it into perspective, can you do you think Valkyrie could
sorry.
main event a WrestleMania?
Yeah.
Okay, that's basically what I was looking for. That one person who could get to there and who you think will get to there.
Yeah.
And like that, there's probably like
There's a
50
million
of
other
them,
people.
yeah,
Yeah.
that you could name. Like that's why I said there's no offense to anybody. There's loads of people who you could have named there, but just one person that kind of stood out to you. So this one, and you've probably named this already. Do you have a guilty pleasure favorite wrestler?
Oh, is it guilty pleasure though? I love Stardust.
Yeah, that's
Stardust
what I
is
was gonna
amazing.
say. You've
Yeah.
already named it. That's
But
definitely
does that
guilty pleasure.
count?
Yeah,
I don't think you're allowed to have guilty pleasure wrestlers anymore. Every wrestler is amazing. That's my stance on it. I love
yeah,
Stardust.
absolutely. There's just a few that are a bit more taboo. Like I think who was it? Someone said that I think it was CT said John Cena because
Oh,
the
but
because
come, like he's
yeah,
the
but it's
biggest star.
because of the rep that he has, and because it's a bit more taboo as well to say, oh, I'm a John Cena fan, and that like there is a bit of criticism there. Now I'm a
I
John
think
Cena fan, but like I'm more open. I don't care. Like who knows?
I think that's taboo on the internet, maybe
Yeah,
because like all the kids look up to John Cena. He's
yeah.
amazing. Like that's the reason he's where he is. Like he's very inspirational. And I wouldn't say it's taboo to be a fan of someone who's beloved in the wrestling scene. That's
Absolutely.
my opinion, though.
Yeah. Now I think the exact same way, but that's where I got the question from. It was actually from online, and I actually saw a list of people who they named, and like Stardust was there, Cena was there, Goldust was there. There was a few of them, like, but no, like who's not a fan of Cody Rhodes, like, or Cody? Are we allowed to call him Cody Rhodes?
I
Yeah,
oh
yeah.
I
Vince isn't gonna
yes.
see this. It's alright. So do you have any merch?
Yes, I have a big cartel page up, and oh, look at that! Look, look! I don't know which side of the screen it's on, so I'm gonna point that up. Look, look, look.
So yeah, so we can find it on Big Cartel. Um, so yeah, Big Cartel. It's at the bottom of the screen there as well. If you're watching on YouTube, it's over there under Amy's picture. It's amyallonsy.bigcartel.com. So yeah, buy this. I actually bought that from my niece for her birthday. So that's way too small for me. It won't fit me. But yeah, that's been held there for her birthday, and we got one of these as well. which
Whoa!
is an amazing little touch to the t-shirt that I wasn't expecting. So I'm keeping this because she's not getting it. Yeah, so there's your plug. So who would you say you have had the best chemistry in the ring with? Is there any one person where
Raven
everything
Creed.
clicked?
Raven Creed, in my opinion. I've wrestled her in a few places now, and I always love getting in the ring with her. Like, I always learn a lot from her.
Hmm. So do you prefer to wrestle as a singles or a tag?
I love both. Like, I've no preference because obviously, like, I'm a tag team champion, and like I've done a lot of single stuff. So.
You're not giving anything away here, Amy.
That's just the truth. I'm awful.
So what are you watching? What TV shows are you watching?
oh,
Films,
uh,
anything? Or I didn't mean like watching this screen, looking at me.
I was
Like,
like, I'm watching Zoom at the minute. Almost finished Black Mirror. Just finished the last episode of Better Call Saul, my favorite TV show, and I'm hoping to restart Doctor Who soon.
you're almost finished Black Mirror.
Almost. I've one episode left, I think, or two.
Yeah, the new series wasn't great. It was alright.
I liked it. I started off going backwards for
Backwards.
some
Oh, that's
reason.
it's called
Yeah.
Netflix. It's stupid. It actually brings you to the newest ones and works its way back.
Yeah.
So you've watched all of the new
No,
season, or did you
and then
go
I
back?
started
Did you cop it?
watching Up again.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I copped it at some stage. I think I watched 5 and 4, and then I started going up again.
Do you have a favorite episode?
Smithereens. Everyone hates it for some reason, but I
Oh,
love Andrew
really?
Scott. He's amazing as an actor, and he was amazing in that episode. I loved it. Even now, like, I love that episode. And then I watched Hang the DJ the other day, and that made me kill it. Like, that was an amazing episode.
I think my favorite was was a White Christmas.
Oh,
That
that.
I
Oh,
thought that was
I.
phenomenal.
It was amazing, but it made me feel like icky.
I
Like,
think,
a lot
yeah,
of Black Mirror makes me feel icky.
yeah, it is. It's one of those shows where you're just kind of like, oh, I don't know, this is weird, but it's amazing.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, so this is a one-word answer. Okay, one word to describe Joe Cabret.
Legend.
Sorry, was that legend?
Legend.
It's cool. We haven't had legend yet.
What have you had?
Stubborn.
Hmm.
Genius.
Yes.
I can't remember the others. I don't know.
Legend.
I'm gonna compile a list, so I'm gonna make a spreadsheet and I'm gonna put everything on it. I have to do that soon. I keep saying I'm gonna do it, but I have to put everyone's answers onto a spreadsheet so that I can actually look back as we're doing them. But yeah, I haven't done that yet. So this is getting into the dressing room then. So the people who you've kind of worked with. Now this like I kind of wanted to keep it to more the Irish scene because this is what the podcast is mainly focused
Yes.
on. It's reaching out to more Irish people. There's more Irish people watching this. So who would you say is the most annoying in the dressing room?
Me? I don't want to call anybody out. That's mean. I'm gonna
No,
know it's
it's not. It's
me.
not kind of one. It's not kind of one of like like not in a really bad way. So I'll give you an example of who we had. So we had Martina because
Oh.
she's amazing, and this is the way that's been put across. She's amazing, but if you're not in the humor for her, like it can kill you. um, who
I love Martina. I love when she comes in and she's so happy because especially if like something goes wrong in the setup and she comes in, she's like, oh,
I
I'm
think
like,
that's
yes,
because the two of you.
breath of fresh air.
I think that's because the two of you are in the same headspace.
Maybe.
Like I've seen your videos from First Females when you were traveling to Liverpool. Like, yeah, I think you're the right answer.
Yeah, okay. Yeah. Actually, yeah, let's
but
go.
like that in a good way. Like, um, I just don't know how you have that battery. Like, I don't know how you can just keep going.
Someone has to be happy on show days.
That's very
Oh,
true.
that's the answer to
Yeah.
that one.
So, who would you say has the best ringer?
Everyone, like, now everyone has amazing ringer.
They do. Is there anyone's gear who you've looked at and you said, "That's class. I'd love that."
Paddy like
Oh, don't
he
say his
had like
yellow thing.
Kill Bill. Yeah, it was like
No.
Kill Bill. It was amazing. I looked at that and I was like, that's class. Does everyone not like that? I loved that.
I
I
don't
I
like it.
really liked it.
I've actually tweeted Paddy like about this. And
I
I have a bit of a
liked
joke with
it.
Paddy like where he was saying, I can't remember what he was saying, and I was like, please don't wear that luminous yellow monstrosity
It's
again.
amazing. But when he walks out, you're like, Paddy M, that's him. Like,
Oh,
he stands
absolutely.
out. It's amazing. Whether you love it or hate it,
Yeah,
there's no such thing as bad press. So I'm gonna vote for that
that's
kid.
that's true. I think it's a monstrosity, but now fair play to him. He can pull it off. I wouldn't he just reminds me of Ali J. So if you were traveling and you were staying overnight, who would you say would be the best to room with?
Oh, I'm gonna say Debbie Keitel because she is amazing when we travel together. She's like a mother to everybody. Katie Harvey as well is like the mother to everybody, but I've traveled a lot with Debbie, so I really like traveling with her. She's so organized, she's so prim, and she's so proper. She has everything organized for everybody. So even if like we hate each other when we're in the ring, she's amazing to travel with.
Yeah, I don't think you have to hate each other. Well, I don't know. I spoke about this with CT. Um, like I don't know if you have to hate each other anymore. Like, is she? I don't know. Is she a good guy? Is she a bad guy? I don't know what she is now. Like,
She's Debbie Keitel. She
yeah,
is
like
what she wants to be.
she nearly made me cry at that last show. And like I'm supposed to hate her, but she's amazing. No, Debbie is. She's phenomenal, and our social media game is on point.
Yeah,
Um,
tops.
so is there anyone who you wouldn't like to room with?
Ooh. See, no, I don't think so. I haven't roomed with that many people, and everyone I've roomed with has been fine. I
I
think
think
maybe the Modern Hype lads because they're so hyper all the time and they would not shut up when I want to go to sleep.
that
Maybe
that's
those guys.
yeah, that's kind of what I'm looking for. And we had another one. Anyone who doesn't, or anyone who smokes, because they wouldn't have them smoking in their room.
Oh
Um,
God, I just named names. I didn't know you were looking for traits.
I know anything, whatever. Again, whatever way you'd want to answer.
Oops.
I think we had a who was it? Frankie, I think, told me Aiden, because Aiden would just punch it in the throat and wake you while you were asleep or something like, and it'd be
Oh
like
yeah,
horrendous.
that's crackhead energy of Aiden. Yeah.
So again, you've obviously travelled with a few people, even just on the road, maybe to Cork or to Belfast or whatever. Is there anyone who you'd say would have the best taste in music that you've noticed?
Darren, Darren Carney.
Any examples?
Um, like we share a playlist. Like we just have the exact same
Ah,
music
that's
taste.
cute.
So
Um, is there anyone who you'd say has the worst taste in music?
Valkyrie. And I'm saying that with Venom because her favorite band is Nickelback.
What's wrong with Nickelback?
Don't get me started. There's your answer.
Oh, I think we're gonna have a fall now.
There's nothing worse than be like jamming out, listening to whatever, and then Valkyrie's here. She comes on, puts on some crazy Nickelback song, and we're all like, okay.
I don't know. You have to start the playlist with Rockstar. It,
No, you don't.
it's probably one of the best songs ever.
That's a good song, and a photograph is a good song, but everything else kind of just.
Is it that it's too heavy?
I don't know. I don't like. I don't know what it is.
Okay, so right, go back to the other question then. So give me an example. What's on your shared playlist with Darren?
Um, like I'm the number one. I'm not the number one. I'm like in the top 1% of Tyler the Creator fans on Spotify, which I'm very proud of. Like Oliver Tree, Clara. So maybe I'm a bit more indie. I don't think you can
Yeah,
say that and with it like straight facing that. I'm so indie, but like that kind of realm of music.
yeah. Well, I'm kind of an all rounder. Like I listen to anything.
But like
Um,
the Arctic Monkeys is my favorite band. So I don't know what you want to take from that.
no,
Take what you want.
yeah, amazing band. I'll have to get you to share your playlist with me. So who would you say then has the best dress sense?
Oh, Fabio always shows up to shows styling at Five Factory. Like he has an amazing fashion sense.
And who would you say would have the worst dress sense?
Aiden because he what like basically what he wears in the ring is what he wears to shows. Like he'll
Short
show
and
up
a
with
Hawaiian
like
short.
yeah, and he'll wear like socks and sandals. Like if you watch his Instagram stuff, like that's how he dresses. So no offense, because like we're all allowed to dress whatever way we want to dress. Like, but the
Yeah.
socks and sandals, man.
This is 2 in a row. Terry Thatcher on the previous show said, Aiden, socks and sandals.
Yeah. So
So this one, take whatever way you want. This is the last one, by the way. Take whatever way you
cool
want. Who is the longest in the shower?
at a show.
Yeah.
In general, or um, I don't pay attention to anyone in the shower, so I don't know the answer to that question.
If you didn't know where that comes from a show called Soccer AM. I don't know if you've ever watched it.
No.
But they ask people, they ask their a thing called teammates, where they're asking a footballer about their other teammates, and that's always the last question. So who's the longest
the
in the shower?
only the only answer I can give to that question is the fabulous Nikki, and that's only because he uses the women's shower at the contender shows because he likes that one more. That's the only answer I can give to that question. It's only because we leave the locker room and let him take the shower, so that's the only question. I don't know. Do other people pay attention to people's shower times? Do I have to keep a tally or?
I don't know. I've had some answers. I've had some
Maybe we're all in
mixed
different locker
answers.
rooms then.
Go watch the other shows if you want the answers, because I don't feel comfortable repeating some of them.
Okay.
No, but that's all your quick fire questions. We got through them pretty cool.
Yes.
They weren't as long as you probably expected. 22, my random number.
Okay.
I might have to change a couple of them up because, like, I think they come across the wrong way. So I might have to reword a few of them. But yeah,
Trying to cause controversy. Getting some scoops.
there's nothing wrong with a bit of controversy every now and again, like, as long as it's lighthearted and fun. But yeah, that's pretty much everything that I have here for today, Amy. The one last thing that I just wanted to ask you is if you had a message for any of your fans who may be watching or listening to this, that you want to pass on a little message to anybody, like.
Just thank you for any form of support. Like if you tweet me, like I appreciate it. Like if even buying my t-shirt, like thank you so much. And that's not even a plug. Like it genuinely means the world to me, especially when I'm at an OCT show and there's like so many different t-shirts out there and I see people wearing mine. It's like means the world to me. Like tweets, even come up to shows and like saying like hello, like it all means the world to me. And just thank you for all of the support in the whole world. Thank you.
It's amazing. So thank you very much, Amy, for coming on to the show. It was an absolute pleasure having you on. For anyone watching or listening, go follow myself and Amy on Twitter and Instagram. Amy's at Amy Allonsy on both. I'm at
Everywhere.
KOOK_pod on both. Again, hit up Amy Allonsy's Big Cartel,
If you want, no
amyallonsy.bigcartel.com.
pressure, no
Yeah,
pressure.
no pressure to spend money, but if you want to buy our gear, that's where you can go and get it, or at the shows as well. I'm sure that you'll have some stuff once we get back there.
Yeah.
And if you are listening to this, head over to YouTube, Kicking Out Kayfabe, if you'd like to see the video, and see all the other videos that I have up. But that's the lot from me. Amy, again, thank you very much for coming on. It was an absolute pleasure, and I hope to see you in person very soon.
Thanks for having me.
You're very welcome. Until the next time, everyone, thanks for listening.